a Democrat of California. Congressman, thanks for joining us on this. We appreciate it. Talk to me about the latest we're learning when it comes to this PowerPoint presentation, the number of times this colonel met with Meadows.
Yasmin, it was a shocking and appalling presentation. I mean, the presentation said that President Trump was ready to declare a national emergency in the United States of America. You hear of those things in other countries, in Russia or China or other places. In America, he was prepared to declare a national emergency. And then there were all of these proposals for how he would basically overturn the popular will, subvert democracy. It shows how close we came, actually, to having him take the election away from President Biden. Now, all the committee is asking is for Mr. Meadows to answer questions about this PowerPoint presentation. He's served on the Oversight Committee. He understands the importance of it. And I still hope that he will come in and answer those questions.
So what's interesting to me is, to a certain extent, this PowerPoint is in our rear view, right? But talk to me about your major fears here going forward. When you look at the fact that voting rights legislation has not yet been passed, there's redistricting happening across the board. What should Americans think in the next election in 2022 and then subsequently in 2024?
Yasmin, our democracy is on the line. Voting rights has to be the top issue for every person, every Democrat serving in Congress. We need to pass this. We need to pass this in January. It's passed the House. It can pass the Senate. Every Democrat, from the president to the Senate Majority Leader, Speaker, needs to be saying that this is a must-pass bill. In America, every person ought to have the right to vote, and many states are curtailing that right. And then we need to be really concerned about what's happening in some of these states where they're empowering state legislatures to possibly have an alternative slate in a presidential election, where a state legislature could send a slate that doesn't win the popular vote in that state. So democracy reform really has to be at the top of our agenda.
When you look at the January 6th investigation, the idea is to figure out what went wrong, who should be held responsible, and make sure it doesn't happen again. When you have folks like Steve Bannon, Mark Meadows refusing to testify, how is it that Congress plans on getting the information that they need?
Well, it makes it much harder. I have confidence in our chair, Benny Thompson. He will find a way to get the documents he needs, the information he needs. But obviously, they're putting up roadblocks, and you've identified the key issue. It's not just about accountability, which is important. It's about making sure this never happens again. I don't understand how anyone who watched those scenes on television wouldn't be horrified. We looked weak to the world, having our Capitol overrun. We need to make sure there's a clear plan that something like that never happens in the United States of America again.
Let's talk Build Back Better while I have you, right? You got it through the House. A lot of concessions were made there. We know Pramila Jayapal essentially looked Manchin in the eye and said, listen, if we pass infrastructure, hard infrastructure, that is, assure me that we're going to get Build Back Better passed. So far, it's a no-go. Are more concessions going to have to be made, it seems, in order to get this thing through the Senate?
Yeah, the progressives have already compromised. It wasn't just Pramila Jayapal who did a great job in leading. The president of the United States said that on the $1.75 trillion framework, which was going to reduce child care costs, which was going to have universal preschool, which is going to have investments in climate, which is going to lower elder care costs, that he had 50 senators committed to that, including Senator Sinema and Senator Manchin. So I hope that they will not let down the commitments they've made to the president of the United States.
Congressman Ro Khanna, thank you. Appreciate it.